photographs were just taken sequentially. Okay, let's go back to those. Let's say these three photographs. These three photographs were taken, all of them were taken on the slide within, probably 2 minutes time, that type of thing. It's not like a video where I'm extracting stills or something like that. It's just three different sections of the slide. I try to get a representative picture, not atypical, because, anybody can slant data if they want to. But this is representative of what I was seeing in this particular case. Okay, I got to back up and make sure I don't lose. Let me go back here. I have to move my chat room so I see it. So I hope that answers about the time sequence. Now, do these, quote, black parasites leave the red blood cells? Just moved on me again. Something about do they leave or are they embedded, but I'm losing the page. Hold on. Okay, now if it doesn't move, I can get it. Do these black parasites leave the red blood cells, or do they stay embedded in the main membrane? Here's what I'm seeing, and it took quite a while to get to this microscopically. It's difficult, but one of the discoveries that I see here is that this primary structure, which I regard as a primary structure, this bacterial light growth that measures about a half a micron in the diameter. This thing is in the serum. It's in the fluid external to the cells. That could not be seen. It could never be seen easily, and it wasn't until fairly recently, within the last couple of months, that I actually detected the presence within the serum of the blood. Now, within that serum, it is, call it very, very ubiquitous, very pervasive. Much more than I ever expected. And by the way, if you ever take a look, you'll see if you look, dig in the site, you're going to see some live blood cell analysis. You'll see some video that I put up. And you will see those structures move within the serum, as well as what appears to be within the cell. It could be underneath the cell too. We don't know exactly yet. But there is motion that's attached to these. So if you read that paper called A Mechanism of Blood Damage, you will see the sequence described that I see happening, and that is first the presence of this particular entity or organism within the serum, and that for whatever reason it is appears to be attracted to the exterior wall of the red blood cell, and then when attached for a sufficiently long time period, which we don't know exactly what that would be, but that the cell wall is then broken down. And that's the type of picture you're seeing here. And this is a continuous progression of dissolution and destruction of that cell. And eventually, under the more severe cases, that cell is hard to even recognize as any kind of cell. It's basically destroyed in form. And that would be the end evolution of that. And I have seen that in many, many cases. So I would answer the question as a continuous progression of damage. And that damage, even when those cells, even when, that picture photograph where I showed you where the cells look perfectly normal, I will tell you that I have encountered the cells where they have regained their integrity, but the serum still maintains a very strong population of that bacterial-like growth. Okay, so this is saying that it appears to be pervasive in the blood under many, many, if not most conditions at this point. Okay, I'm going to go on and let's see. Okay, I'm going to try. I do have a request, and I saw that somewhere. Now let me see if I can find it. And if somebody can type that particular question or copy it back in, go ahead. But Common Sense apparently asked a question. And I don't know how far back or where it is. So here's my suggestion. Just type in that question again. Copy and paste it if you can. At the very bottom. And obviously we won't catch up. There's too many questions coming tonight. But all right, comment. Here we go. So I'm seeing something. This is long. This is a little bit long for me to take on, okay? Because I have to get right to the question for you folks. You'll have to read it. I'm sorry, but I have to try to go to the question as best I can. Man, I have to try and extract the question. And you see what I'm getting at? Well, I have to back up. Based on pure logic, I think the fact that all people seem to yield some positive result via the red wine test is pointing to the universality of results, and not that everyone has Morgellons. Well, and maybe I'll have to read the whole thing to truly get what we're trying to say here. But first of all, this quote thing called Morgellons, right? It has no proper definition whatsoever. And I believe this is a little bit of what you're trying to infer here. And I'm saying from my side, there's not even any proper definition of what we're talking about. And some people, like I say, will regard it purely external. I will say that I think certain internal things are more suitable to use. But until you at least have a proper definition of what we're talking about, and then you have the work in place to identify the actual known underlying factors, we don't know that anyone has that at this point. What are the actual underlying factors? What is the definition of the condition? Until you have these things defined, it's all over the map. And it still is. And it will be for right now. So, I guess what I can say is admit to the confusion and also the universality that you are referring to. I would agree with you. And I can't make that distinction yet. I can only offer observations that do not appear to be normal to me, and I can offer the extent of those observations, and I can raise a flag and a warning to others as to something that I think needs to be, let's call it resolved. The word concern just doesn't hold anymore. I've had concern for 12 years, folks. There's resolution required of the issues that are being raised here. And I can't distinguish in the semantics of the condition right now. It may not be an adequate answer, but it's at least what I can gather right now without becoming involved in a more intense discussion with you. Okay, I hope that's okay for now. Now, I know we're probably way out of sequence here. I hope nobody's offended. I'm going to try to go back and find out where I was. There was a time sequence. And that's what I kind of jumped. Okay, so I took care of common sense. It sounds like things are working tonight, huh? It moves. I get set up where I'm reading it, and then it moves. I was just getting to the next one. It was on colloidal silver, but I lost it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find. So something I'm running into a problem with, folks, is that the screen. I don't know if it's because you keep typing. That's why. You know what would help me? You know what would help me right now? Maybe if you didn't type for a bit, the screen wouldn't keep moving on me, so I can catch up with one of these questions. I know that might be hard, but I have to. It has to hold still. There. Here's one. Okay, so that's not a question. I'm sorry. I have to go on. Can you tell us more how much antioxidant someone would need to take to affect the change in the red blood cells? Okay, well, I always provide my caveats, right? I'm not a doctor, so when you get into specifics, anything related to recommending for a human body, you won't get it directly from me. If you look at my papers and read them carefully, you will find specific amounts that are described in detail with respect to the laboratory conditions. Petri dish. The whole thing is itemized pretty much as best I can. Those that have knowledge can extrapolate that information to whatever level they wish, but that's not my role to be doing that at this point. And the comment I made about seeking the guidance and consultation of your medical professionals that you have confidence, those are real statements, and I'll always hold all of us to it, because it's just not my job to give specific recommendations on amounts of anything. But I would say that I believe that somebody that was knowledgeable would be able to interpret the information I have provided to at least have some kind of reasonable interpretation of what they think that might mean with respect to the human body. So I circumvented your question, but not in a way that I wouldn't do again. Anything specific about the human body, I will not be answering it directly. I will describe in detail the laboratory work